It's time for Fort Worth Musical Moments. Join us now as Steve Markwardt takes a look at the music and the artists who made the city's vibrant musical legacy what it is today. Well, hey, welcome to Fort Worth Musical Moments. Another week, and we are here. It's Brent Adams along with my buddy Steve Markwardt. And today, Steve, we've got a guest who calls the Lubbock area home, but her musical journey has taken her through Fort Worth and beyond. And I consider her to be one of the torchbearers for traditional country music. Excited about this one?
Yes, Brent, we've got the lovely Cathy Jewell, who's multi-talented, multifaceted. She not only runs a very successful radio station there in the Lubbock area, but she's a award-winning artist, musical artist, songwriter, singer, performer, you name it. She can do it all, and we're very fortunate to call her a friend and very fortunate to have her on the show this morning. So good morning, Cathy.
Good morning, guys. I just want to say a shout out to y'all, and y'all are doing a fabulous job on this program, and I enjoy watching it every week.
Well, we are super excited to have you with us here. We've got a lot of ground to cover here. We want to talk about the radio career. We want to talk about the career as an artist and also where those two intersect. But before we do that, just to kind of give folks who may be unfamiliar kind of a taste here, and since it is a Good Friday, I want to kick things off with a song from your award-winning gospel album, You Are Engraved on the Palms of His Hands. This is Engraved.
Thank you.
I prayed to Jesus, have you forgotten me? Where are you now? Here down on my knee, I know I don't deserve your grace, but I really need to see your face. Jesus came to me in a dream that night, his arms stretched out, coming out of the light. He said, look real close, tell me what you see. As he held his hands out to me, I could never forget you. My love will always stand, for you are engraved on the palms of my hands. I sat up in bed with tears flowing free, and I knew Jesus had come to me. He made sure that I could clearly see that he was listening when I was down on my knees. When I feel alone and scared, wonder if anyone cares, I think back to what Jesus said on that special night in bed. He said, look real close, tell me what you see. As he held his hands out to me, I could never forget you. My love will always stand, for you are engraved on the palms of my hands. Yes, you are engraved on the palms of my hands.
What a beautiful and powerful way to kick things off this morning. Great stuff, Cathy.
Thank you, and happy Good Friday to everybody.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, you come by this radio career, honestly, from a family that was in the radio business, and you got to start at an early age. What was it that it made you decide that you wanted to do what your family had done?
I think that because, like you said, I cut my teeth in radio because my parents, when I was, I think 1 year old, they bought the radio station in Post, Texas. It was an AM, 1370 AM. And so my dad was only like 21 years old when he bought the station. My mom was 20. And, it was really hard at first for them. The station, needed some TLC. And so when I was 13 years old, I decided to ask my dad if I could have a show after school. The year before, my sister, who's a year older than me, she asked if she could have a show after school. So she got to have her show after school before me because she's older. And her name's Donna, and she is just such a natural on the air as well. She does a great job. And so I kind of followed in my parents' footsteps as well as my sister's footsteps, and got my chance to be on the air when I was 13 years old.
Who were you playing back in those days?
Probably the same stuff we're playing today, honestly. I remember playing, but it was new songs back then. It was the latest from Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings and Loretta Lynn and Johnny Cash. And so it was all the good stuff, just like we still play today, except now it's classic country.
So what along the way, you also got interested in actually singing and writing songs and performing. What did that look like at an early age for you?
When I was growing up, you couldn't go in any room of our house pretty much without a radio being on because we monitored the station. Of course, back then when it was AM, we signed off. It's called signing off. People today don't understand that, I'm sure. But we signed off with the national anthem when the sun went down. And so, we weren't on the air 24 hours a day. But I think that just absorbing all of that music gave me a love for it. And also, when we would travel, my dad would sing us different songs, and he would have us sing along with him. He never considered himself a singer, and he doesn't think he has a good voice. But, I always thought he did. He's my dad. And he would just teach us songs, and we would all sing along. And so I think that that had an impact. And then also he always told me that you really need to pay attention to who wrote the song, because that person sometimes doesn't get the credit they deserve, and to always look and see who wrote the song.
Cathy, what is the very first song you ever wrote? Do you remember?
It was called For Life, but the guy that helped me record that song told me, he said, really, For Life sounds like prison. So he said, why don't we call it In My Heart? And so it's a song that, because I didn't start learning how to play the guitar until I was probably around 24 years old. And the reason why I decided to learn how to play guitar, even though I'd always wanted to, is I wanted to be able to have a tool so that I could accompany myself with the songs that I wanted to write. So the song that I wrote called In My Heart was a song that I actually just sang it, but I didn't actually accompany myself. I wrote the lyrics, and I knew how the melody was going to go. And so I had a man by the name of Jimmy Blakely. When I was much older, fast forward, my kids were already, in elementary school by the time I was able to record my first album, as well as the song I'm telling you about, because I wrote that song when I was 19 years old. And so I was able to put it on my first album. And this man named Jimmy Blakely, who was pretty well known in this area, he helped me with my first album. And I'm eternally grateful to him. He's no longer with us anymore. I surely miss him. He was a great friend. But yeah, the song is called In My Heart.
Well, the very first song I ever wrote was, and I didn't start writing music until I learned how to play the guitar, just had a basic idea of chord structures. And then I guess I had a bunch of songs in me that got unlocked, and I started putting them down. But the very first song I wrote was, my wife will tell you, it was one about she and I, and it was called Your Imperfections Make You Perfect for Me. And so she says, oh, so the first song you write is a love song to me. I told her it was a love song. She goes, no, it's really about all my character defects.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, you definitely had all kinds of stuff in you that needed to come out, and I'm so glad that it's coming out now.
Well, me too, and I want to thank you and KSSL and Billy Bowles. You guys were the first ones to play my music, and what a thrill! I know you probably I know you know what this feels like. Of course, you've been around radio your whole life, so perhaps it's not near as like I was like a deer in headlights the first time I heard my music being played on the. I felt like like the Beatles. I said, this must be what the Beatles felt like when they were running around Liverpool and they heard the music for the first time. And but anyway, it was a really moment, and it never got lost on me. And of course, you never get tired of hearing your music played on the air. It's really a cool thing.
No, I think that if you don't get excited about hearing your music on the radio, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, then of course I can be my own worst critic too, and I go, and I because as with any creative endeavor, you know, if I listen to my own stuff, I'll say, I should have done this, or I should, and
Oh yes.
So, Brent and I've talked about this. What makes a great creative person, separates them from a good one, is knowing when to walk away and pronounce that project finished. Right. So.
That is so true, because you can tweak it till it's just gone from great to awful.
Yeah.
So, Steve was talking about the radio station. You've always kind of traveled these parallel tracks between radio, DJ, and station owner and performer. Let's talk a bit about the radio personality and station owner side. What does that look like for you these days?
It keeps me busy, and as you said, off the streets, out of trouble. But we work really hard. Suzanne is a key player with the radio station. She helps me a lot, because I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't really realize, that takes a lot of time. And one of those things is, as you will know, Brent, the advertisers. And so that takes a lot of time. You have to cultivate those accounts and those relationships, and you have to continue to keep that funnel full, because there's going to be attrition for whatever reason. You're going to have a certain amount of cancellations, hopefully not very many. Thank goodness most of our people, we have a lot of people that have been with us from day one as far as advertisers. And we're very thankful for the loyalty of the clients that take time and trust us with their advertising dollars, as well as the people that listen. And those two things continue to grow. And I give God all the glory, because I feel like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have anything. And so I continue to be grateful and continue to thank him for everything he has, graced me with. And I'm just thankful. I really am.
Well, sometimes those parallel tracks actually intersect, and you've not only gotten to bring a lot of legendary artists on stage, you've also gotten to open for quite a few of them over the years.
Yes, I have. There was a man by the name of Larry Schaefer, and he was a promoter, and he took a liking to me years ago, and he gave me the opportunity to open 2 different times for Don Williams. And that was big, for me it was, because I've always loved Don Williams. And he actually had me scheduled to open for George Jones, but unfortunately George Jones passed away before that concert was able to happen. So, but I could have opened for George Jones.
That's amazing. I bet that was nerve-wracking opening for Don Williams. Were you nervous, or did you feel good?
Yeah, I was nervous, but I had a couple of people here locally that we could have 3 people on stage. So I was on stage, and I had a man by the name of Mark Walney. I remember this is years ago, but I remember this. Mark Walney, who is just an incredible artist, and he's also a professor at South Plains College in the music department. He helped me, and then the other one was Steve Williams. Steve Guitar Williams, they call him, and he was the other one that was accompanying me on stage. And it was a surreal moment for me. It was one of the first times I'd ever been able to open for anyone of that caliber at that time. And then God continued to open doors for me, and I've been able to opened for T.G. Shepherd and Johnny Lee and Bill Anderson. I actually got to go on his bus and sit down with him and talk to him. And to me, that was an honor because not only is Bill Anderson a legend like no other, but he also has written so many songs that a lot of people don't even realize that he's written, because a lot of times he's collaborated with other artists. Some of these newer songs, he actually helped pen those.
And then you also got to play the part of Reba with our friend Linda Davis.
I did. One of my dear friends and clients is Daryl Holland. He owns the Cactus Theater, and he's real good to us at KSSL and promotes all of his shows with us. And he called me when she was in town, and he said she needs someone to help her sing the song that she did with Reba, Does He Love You? And I was wondering if I didn't even let him get the words out of his mouth. I said, I'm there, you know. So I was very nervous, but we got on stage, and his or her husband is a very nice man too, and he was in the band. And Larry Scott, is that his name? Larry Scott? Lang, not Larry. You're right, Lang Scott. And so they were all encouraging, very complimentary, and it was just a lot of fun. And then I got to, of course, Johnny Lee at the Coyote and Gale. I got to be Lane Brody on that show and help him with the Yellow Rose of Texas. That was a lot of fun. And then David Frizzell had asked me to sing You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma 2 different times at the Coyote. So that was an honor as well.
And you have to, when those songs, Cathy, you picked some pretty tough songs to tackle there. You got to not only be at the top of your voice solo wise, but you got to know your harmonies really well for those songs too. Yes. And trust me, I practiced a lot on that because really, I've done more solo work, singing the melody than I have singing the harmony. I should have grown up in the church, and I probably would be a lot better at harmony, but it's something I've always wanted to be really good at. And so I have to work at that a little harder. Well, there's nothing better when those harmonies come together and you get in that zone, and there's nothing that feels any better than when you're harmonizing with someone and it all just kind of falls into place. And there's nothing worse than when it doesn't too. Yes, we all know it doesn't sound good when those notes don't harmonize. It sounds awful. Yeah. It's one of my biggest fears. Yeah.
I think about a couple of other cool connections. Another Texas treasure, Mo Bandy.
Yes, he is such a nice, down-to-earth guy. My husband kind of got to sit down with him too, and he still talks about that to this day. It really meant a lot to him. But Mo Bandy is the real deal. And I got to MC that show. I didn't get to sing with Mo, but I did get to meet him. And I've gotten to meet a lot of artists throughout the span of my career, which, you probably figured out my age by now, but I'm not going to tell you I'm a woman. But it's been a great career, and I've just been very blessed to be able to actually meet a lot of the people that I've always admired and always loved their music.
Well, I was trying to figure out how you've done all this stuff by age 35. I'm still...
Thank you. Yes.
Still trying to
35 and holding.
Hey, here's another cool one here, Crystal Gale.
Oh my goodness. She is just beautiful. That was taken, I guess, about 2 or 3 years ago. So, I mean, she still looks the same as she ever did, and just a sweetheart of a person. And what a concert she puts on. It was a fun night at the Cactus Theater.
So she was at the Cactus. A lot of really good people have come through the Cactus and
Coyote.
And the Coyote. Yeah. Those are 2 great venues. It's kind of funny because, a lot of people think of those places as, kind of remote out there, but I mean, those have been awesome venues. They really are. You would be amazed at the people that they have at these venues. And, if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend go to both. You will not be disappointed. Yeah, I've not been to Coyote of the Cactus. Of course, been there a few times. I was there with when my brother screened his film there. We did a little tour of that. We went to Abilene and then the Cactus. Abilene, we went to that Paramount Theater there. I believe that's what it's called. One of the old grand old theaters that, very few of those left. And Cactus, that was a neat deal. And yeah, Daryl Holland was just such a gentleman, such a good guy. And then, of course, the Texas Awards were there last year, and we had a blast at that. So,
Yep.
So, as an artist, when you're around some of those folks who've done it for a long time and have achieved that level of success, what do you take away from watching them, both on stage and kind of off stage, and things you can apply to your career?
I think just being real personable, being real, and being authentic. You know, perfection is boring, and I do think that you want to do your best, but I think you have to be authentic. And I think that when you see someone on stage and they're vulnerable and they're actually not talk, I think you can talk too much, but I think that you have to show your personality and tell a little bit about your life, because I think people connect with that. I think just being real.
Right. Well, I tell you what, you've worked on this craft since you were a young girl, and the hard work certainly hasn't gone unnoticed. We shared that song earlier. That was from an album that won the 2022 CMA of Texas Country Gospel Album of the Year. You were also the 2020 CMA of Texas Artist of the Year, and the 2019 Academy of Western Artists Pure Country Female Vocalist of the Year. Did you ever imagine that it would earn you the accolades that it has?
No, I haven't. And it's, you know, it's nice to get recognition from the fans as well as my peers. That means a lot to me. It's kind of like the icing on the cake, because I never went into it for that reason. If you go into anything for the wrong reasons, which would be to get the awards and to make $1 million, I think that you're going into anything for the wrong reason. You have to do it from the passion that's inside of you and the gifts that God's given you. And once you do that, everything else is going to fall into place. I really feel like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that, because if you're chasing the wrong things, especially the dollars, all you're going to do is set yourself up with a lot of fear, and then you just make more fear-based decisions, which leads you into more fearful situations. And so the best thing to do is just focus on that's what I understand too, is just focus on my music and have fun with it, and yes, and be genuine and be accessible. To
yeah.
I still can't believe I have one fan, much less.
You got a lot more than one, Steve.
Right. Well, you got two sitting here on the show right now, so that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're at 100% right here.
At least, well, I'm speaking for myself. I guess I shouldn't speak for Cathy. But.
Oh,
no, this Mutual Admiration Society. I mean, I've admired you for even before I met you. I watched what you've done, and me being a business person as well, I have a lot of respect for that you're running a business very successfly and doing your music and balancing all of that, and I know without a doubt that a large part of your success is because of the steadfast faith you have in God, and there's no question about that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, he if we'll give it all to him, he'll work it out. Sometimes we wonder why it's taking so long on certain things, and sometimes that road's kind of crooked at times, but he will make our paths straight, and he'll protect us. And I'm just thankful for people like you guys, because y'all really put your heart and souls into this. And Brent, I know you work tirelessly all the time with different things. I don't know how you do everything you do. And Steve, you do so much as well. And y'all got so many big plans. And I'm just excited about what the future holds with you guys.
Thank you. I want to just mention the song that we just listened to, Engraved. And what a reassuring message that is, because I don't know. There have been times in my life where I've questioned, God. I'm only human, and the answer I always got in God's time was, "Buddy, I've never left you. I've been here all along."
Right.
And it's like you said, it's in God's timing. But the thing that I know, in looking back on my life, is that I've always had exactly what I need, exactly when I need it, not a minute too soon or too late. And that's all I need to God. But the message in your song is so it reminds me of that verse, I think it's in Matthew, which says, even the very numbers of your hairs are every hair on your head is numbered. How does
He knows
it go?
every hair on your head. He knows us that well.
Don't be afraid is what they're saying. And I think that's the message there, and so I appreciate that you see your music in that vein as a ministry. And so I think that's really, really awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I tell you what, outside of the gospel songs, another of the great songs that you've done in your career was Please Blue Moon, which was penned by the late legendary DJ and songwriter Bill Mack. How did that relationship and that song recording come about?
It was very interesting. Once again, it's just something that I feel like that was supposed to be. But Billy Bowles had approached me years ago when he wanted to have a show on my radio station. And I thought, I think that's a great idea, because he'd been with a different radio station in the market. So he came on board, and it was just a really good fit for both of us. And so he was able to get in contact with Bill Mack because, of course, Billy loved Bill Mack and listened to him every night when he was growing up. And so they developed a relationship, and Billy did a series with Bill Mack on his life and his career. And it was a very interesting, segment that he did. It lasted for several weeks. And in the process of that, that's how I got to become acquainted with Bill Mack. And so Billy was a big advocate in that, because he really let Bill Mack know that I was a great artist, and, that I should he should maybe think about, me for some of his songs. And so when he heard me sing, he sent me a CD that had 6 or 7 songs on it. And a few of them had never been recorded by anyone. And he said, it's not going to hurt my feelings if you're not interested in these. But he said, I really think that your voice would lend itself to, especially Please Blue Moon. And so I listened to it. I fell in love with it, and decided to record it. And he was extremely complimentary, and he was just very proud of the recording. And we became close friends, and I really miss him. And he was just such a great guy and huge talent. And I'm proud that that's one of the songs that I was able to record.
It's such a beautiful and soulful song here, and I want to share it with the folks here, so the folks who haven't heard it can get a chance to hear it. This is Please Blue Moon.
All right.
Oh, please, blue moon, stop shining. Can't you see you broke my heart? Oh, please, blue moon, I'm pining. When you're shining, that's when the teardrops start. I'd rather live my life in total darkness than be caught in the sorrow of your life. Oh, please, please, blue moon, stop shining. Don't shine your light on me tonight. He never placed a ring around my finger, though I see a ring around your sad satellite. Oh, please, please, blue moon, stop shining. Don't shine
Another great one.
Well, Bill Mack, he did a great job writing that one, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Beautiful song. You did a great job singing it. And that song has gotten a lot of traction. I know it was at the top of the charts in Europe for a good while, right?
Mm-hmm. It was, and it got top 5 with the Pure Country, Song of the Year. I can't remember what year that was, but several years back with the
Pretty
AWA.
Pretty cool to think about. You and Leanne Rimes both have cuts from Bill Mack.
Yes, that is pretty cool.
So earlier this year, you traveled to Clarksville, Tennessee to work with our friend Curt Ryle here at Clarksville Creative Sound on a new album. Tell us a bit about that whole process, because we're all excited to hear the finished product.
Oh, I am too. I'm just beyond excited. What a great guy, first of all. And his son, Braden, what a huge talent, and just a nice kid. They were just so gracious. And of course, Mia, Curt's wife, she made us feel right at home. And we stayed there for a week. I say we, my husband and I both went. And it was an experience I've never been able to have in my career before. To be able to ride with the caliber of artist that Curt is, and the background that he has in the music business, it was just a gift, honestly. And I believe we wrote 8 songs together, and we are planning on recording those in the next few months at his studio there at Clarksville Creative Sound. So I'm extremely excited about it. We have we have a variety of songs that we wrote, from up-tempo fun songs to songs that really stop and make you think.
Cathy, I spoke with Curt this morning, and he told me to tell you he's so excited getting together with you to get these songs recorded. I just was there last week, and I'm always more and more amazed at the whole process that he goes through to get those songs down. He brings in the world's greatest musicians. Our piano player was Dolly Parton's producer, and he was telling us about that Dolly was just given the nod to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Dolly's response was, "Well, I better record a rock and roll album then." So next thing you know, we got Elton John, Billy Joel, Sting, the Heart, the Wilson sister, all these just iconic people from pop and rock and roll coming in their studio. And he goes, I said, "Man, what was that like?" He said, "Well, you want to talk about being nervous. Try playing piano in front of, while Elton John and Billy Joel are both sitting there watching you, but
wow.
But
yeah.
those what I'm saying all that to say, the caliber of musicians that he brings in there, and and how Curt manages that whole process. Brent has seen it too. It's absolutely amazing, and so I can't wait for you to experience that facet of putting your album together. And Curt is so excited about the song. He said that rarely does he connect with another person on songwriting like he did with you. Mm-hmm. He just felt like you guys really had a strong connection, and y'all were able to get down some really, really great songs. So he's really, really excited about that.
Well, he told me the same thing, and so if he repeated it to you, he must have really meant that, because that just blew my mind, because I know he's written with a lot of people over the years. And I would like to say that I'm so excited to hear your new stuff that you just recorded there as well. We're excited about that.
Oh, we're excited about it too. And I had my wife come up there so she could witness the whole thing, and she was pretty blown away by it as well. And so there's something really magic going on there in that studio, and I'm not just saying that because I happen to be a part of that from a business standpoint. I knew once I set foot in there and watched Curt work, I knew I'd hit the jackpot. But Brent, let's bring up Curt's picture again. I want to look at something here real quick.
Let me see what we can find here. What do we have in the archives of Curt Ryle?
Yeah. Okay. What do you think of that jacket, Cathy?
I heard you the other day talking about this jacket. Hey, you know what? Like you said, he can wear whatever he wants to wear, because he's just talented enough that he can pull anything off.
He told me the only reason I'm razzing about that jacket is because I'm jealous, because wife Jill has a crush on him, and he's probably right. So.
Oh, I'm glad that y'all can banter back and forth. He's a fun guy. He's a great guy. He's the real deal. He's just, and if he believes in you, you know, that's a huge blessing. And so to have him on my side, to have y'all on my side, that really, you know, that really makes me happy.
Well, I'll tell you that one of the main, if you've ever recorded, you know, at other places, you know, the whole thing in my head anyway, in that experience prior to working with Curt, was time is money, time is money, time is money. With Curt,
Right.
He doesn't have any clocks on the wall. You're not done until it's, you know, in his mind, as close to perfect as possible, you know.
Right.
And of course, like, perfection is boring, and you're right. There sometimes it's the little nuances and maybe the things that were unintended that make a song special. But you know, Curt, man, the way he manages that process, and especially working, you know, on the vocal side of things, boy, by the time you're done on the vocals, you know, I felt like had gone through boot camp.
Yes. It's good to have somebody that will bring the very best out in you, because like you said, even though you don't want it to be necessarily perfection, but you do want it to be your best work, and he will make sure that it's your best work, for sure.
Absolutely. And so having said that, Curt can wear whatever the heck he wants, you know. I told him, I said, well,
Curt,
Curt,
good. I'm a woman, but I thought he looked good in it.
Even if it's a wig, a dress.
Yes. And I think that video has gotten a nomination for the Josies for video of the year or something like that. I don't know.
The only video that he's ever done, is that the one you're talking about?
I'm sorry?
The only video he's ever done, or are we talking about the one with you?
The one I'm talking about, the one with me on the Talking in Your Sleep, when I convinced him.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, and I convinced him to be the lump in the bed that I'm, you know, pleading my case. And when I first asked Curt to do that, he's like, "Oh man, I don't want to do that." And then after he thought about it a while, he started, you know, that we could pull that off. And the next thing you know, he comes down, he goes, "Look what I found!" And he went through his wife's closet and found a old wig. So
that's a good video, and that just made it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's funny, and his facial expressions. So Curt will definitely do whatever he has to do to support the artist. You know, he'll go above and beyond, and even to the point of cross-dressing, I guess. I don't know, but anyway.
Oh,
It's never dull, is it?
No. So we have a lot of fun at Clarksville Creative Sound, and I know when I was there with you, Cathy, you know, that you picked up on that vibe real quick. We showed y'all that video. I'll never forget this. We showed y'all that video. Your husband was standing there, and as I kept watching him out of the corner of my eye, he kept taking a step back and back and back. And when the deal at the end of the video, he looked at Curt and I went, "I don't know about you guys."
Yeah, that was pretty funny, his reaction. He just loves y'all. I mean, he still talks about that week we were up there. He's looking forward to going back. And of course, while we were there, he is a really good cook, and so he cooked a meal for everybody to say thank you. It was for Curt's birthday, and also just to say thank you, since we were able to stay there for the week. And we kind of pampered them a little bit with a steak dinner one night, and that was a lot of fun. We just became family while we were there. He's just a great guy.
Well, that's good. And Mia lays out a nice breakfast every morning too. So
she does. She is a sweetheart.
Well, and all the joking aside, one of the songs you recorded was a duet with one of traditional country music's good guys, Lonnie Spiker, and we have a live performance of that song that you guys did just a few weeks ago here at our friend Bobby Mackey's Honky Tonk in Wilder, Kentucky. Tell us a bit about that song.
That song took several years to come about because, once again, Billy Bowles, he made the comment on Facebook several years ago. He said, you know, Lonnie, you should think about recording a duet with Cathy, because I can see y'all's voices blending really well together. And so Lonnie was all about it, and I was too. But you know how time gets away from you. We get busy with other things, and that's what happened. But I'm glad that we finally recorded this song, and it's an old Emmylou Harris, Graham Parsons song. I don't remember what year it was recorded, but Lonnie typically does not do cover songs. He does mostly originals, but he really liked this song and he thought it would be a good one for us, and I totally agree. So we recorded it together at Clarksville Creative Sound, and it's getting some good traction, in radio and a lot of positive feedback. So I'm thankful for that. And we did get to record it when I went to Bobby Mackey's wonderful honky tonk, and Lonnie was able to be there as well. And so we did record it, or we did perform it on stage there.
Well, let's take you now to the stage of Bobby Mackey's America's Honky Tonk with That's All It Took.
That's all it took, the mention of your name, and all my love for you burst into flames. I tried so hard to let you go, but all it took. That's all it took to make me know that I still care. It's in my heart, just can't give up the dreams we used to share. I tell my friends I'm happy, but they read me like a book. When today I heard them say your name, that's all it took. Oh, let's play some. Get some of that guitar, yes sir. That's all it took, make me know for your embrace. Completely Saker line and hook. And then today I heard him say your name, that's all it took. And today I heard him say your name, that's all it took. Cathy Jewell. Oh, goodness. Thanks, Lonnie.
That's some real honky tonk music right there. Great stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one to dance to.
And Steve, yes, dancing. We saw dancing there. And what do you always say about dancing?
Well, yeah, people like your music if they're about how much they're dancing, not so much they're clapping. And tell me about Mackey's honky tonk there. He's been doing that a long time. That is a true honky tonk, isn't it?
It definitely is. And I even took the tour that they had before the evening started, where they take you down into the cellar underneath or wherever that is, and they tell you the stories of how it's haunted and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I'd get the full effect of the whole thing while I was there.
Sure.
While we were watching that video, our friend Mary Minter, the president of the CMA of Texas, chimed in on the comments and wanted to let us know that Cathy and Lonnie are going to be receiving the 2024 CMA of Texas Duet Award for that song. So congratulations on that.
Yes, they announced it that night while we were there, and HD did. And Mary, thank you so much, and thank everybody who has supported this song and my duet with Lonnie. And Lonnie, thank you for asking me to do it with you. I'm excited about it. And Steve, I hope that you and I are able to continue to talk about doing a duet together one day.
Yes, we've got some ideas. I'm looking forward to that. We'll definitely do that. But Bobby Mackey's place is I mean, that place has been there a long time, and a lot of people have come through there. One of these days I got to get out there. But you had I know it looks like a great time there. I know you had some difficulties getting back to Lubbock though, on your travel.
Yes, it was just the timing of it, and Brent, you understand that. I know you travel a lot.
Well, we were traveling that same weekend, and it was a fiasco.
Yeah, it really was, and it sounds like you had more of a fiasco than I did, and I'm sure not trying to complain. It was just part of it. Sometimes things go smoothly, and sometimes they don't, and it didn't quite go like I would have liked for it to, but I did get home. And I had a great time while I was there.
We just all need to get out there and get a few hits under our belt and get that jet, So
right.
That would be nice. Real nice. And I want to say shout out to Mary Minter. She does a great job with the CMA of Texas, and she's a dear friend of mine. I love you, Mary.
Mary is a one-person force, and of course, I know there's other people that work behind the scenes with Mary to make that a lot of things happen. She's got Rodney there, who's her longtime friend, and what a great guy he is. And then other folks as well, Carol and some of those folks. But it's amazing for a 2-day. When I saw what she had put on that 2-day awards show, I knew enough and been involved in enough of those types of things to know how much work went into that. And she's always out there looking for good music, promoting good music. She's a great artist development person. She sends people our way at Clarksville Creative Sound from time to time, but not until she vets them completely. And so it's nice to have people like that can do that and send really talented people our way, and we can do our part to get their music out there.
Yes.
Well, since we're giving shout outs here, I just want to kind of run down here. We've got, and forgive me if I miss any of them, a lot of great friends watching here. I see our buddy Ed Williams is watching, Kelly Lewis, Facebook user who I believe today is played by the part of Dina Wood. We're not seeing a name, but I think Dina's on here today.
Hi, Dina.
There's another tireless person.
Yes.
She
does a lot for the independent artist, and she works really hard.
She really does.
See Peggy York on here. Kurt's on here, so he hasn't chimed in lately, but I see he's on here. Terry LeMaster on here. Linda Morrison. And we brought up Billy Bowles a few times. Billy's watching here. And
awesome.
A lot of good friends. So thank you to everybody who's watching today and has been a part of this. Cathy, as you look to the rest of 2023 here, how are things shaping up for the career, and how are things shaping up for KSSL?
Things are going really well. No complaints here. I've got some good stuff, in the works, like we talked about earlier with Clarksville Creative Sound. As far as my music is concerned, going to have some new music out. I'm very excited about that, and to be working with Curt on all of that. And then as far as the radio station, we continue to grow, and we continue to just thrive when a lot of other radio stations sometimes may be struggling, because I'm an independent owner. I'm not affiliated with some of the big conglomerates in radio. Nothing bad to say about that, but sometimes it's harder for a standalone FM in a big market. And I have the station has done well, and it's because of we talked about this earlier, but we talked about that I have a lot of loyalty with my listeners and with clients and with the staff that I have at the radio station. And so it takes everybody doing their part to have success. And so I want to thank everybody who helps me to do what I do.
Well, not to drag you too far down a rabbit trail, but as you're saying that, I got to thinking, in my capacity with the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, we have been talking lately a lot about the demise of AM radio with the fear that FM will come behind that. And I know Ford had just made an announcement this week that they're going to start taking AM radios out of all vehicles beginning in 2024. When you look at that as a station owner, and think about the importance of terrestrial radio to markets like yours and similar size markets around the country. Where do you fall on all that? And what should folks be doing to make their voice heard so that radio doesn't go away? Because it's important on so many levels.
I totally agree, Brent. And we are the heartbeat of the communities. I still believe that. And if you look at statistics, you can see that radio is still ranked very highly on effectiveness for advertisers to spend their advertising dollars promoting their businesses. It's still a very viable source. It's something that if you're like, for instance, with me, I'm not just a jukebox where you turn it on and there's liners, there's a song. I mean, we have personalities. We talk about local events. We talk about the weather. We talk about important things, and we have a radiothon coming up in July where we are raising money for the veterans to send them to Washington, D.C. for 3 days with the Texas South Plains Honor Flight. And so we do things like that as well. So I really don't know what the answer is, but I do know that we all have to make our voice heard and let the people, the powers to be, know that we want to keep radios where we can listen to them. I do have an HD channel with my 94.1. Really HD right now, there's a lot of people that still don't have HD radios, and if they do, they don't use them. But it is something that, moving forward, that we have implemented with our 94.1 signal, which is our translator. So we just keep moving forward and letting people know that radio is still very important in today's society.
Well, I know letter writing or email writing campaigns are sometimes exhausting, and there's no law on the books that says automakers have to include those in cars. That is a luxury. But if you care about it, I would urge folks to, get on the website of Ford and all the automakers and let your voice be heard here. I know we're going to be in front of the FCC here in a couple weeks to talk about this issue here. So we're going to keep beating that drum and trying to get them to put some of the heat on the automakers, because there's always kind of a fear that then comes heavy truck and then also comes farm equipment. And if those radios start disappearing, that's not good for artists. It's not good for communities, not good for anybody. So
it's not. And the thing is, like for instance, with me, and you probably deal with this too. I have a lot of farmers that listen to us when they're out in their tractors a lot.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, those people out in their vehicles, that's the number one way that I think people are listening to the radio is in their vehicle. So that is really the worst thing that can happen. And so definitely as a broadcaster, we do have, the different associations that help push things through with those people. So we all just need to make sure our voice is heard.
Well, we have research that shows that between 83 and 87% of folks in farm country are listening 5 days a week or more, and most are listening for 3+ hours a day. So those are facts. And at that, we'll get off the soapbox on that. But I just kind of wanted to get your opinion out there, and also to put it out in front of our followers who are very passionate about this music, and I don't want it to see it go away. And now I'm going to make a shift here, because we had a really cool comment, and both Cathy and Steve, you'll love this comment. It comes from Lucy Dean Record, who is watching.
Aww, I love her
today. She says she's watching, enjoying seeing Cathy and hearing Steve, and just wanted to check in. So hi to Lucy Dean Record. What a treasure.
Yes,
I love
the woman
Lucy.
is amazing.
Yes, I love her. I've had the honor of sharing the stage with her a few times when we've played. I see her out in the audience, and I want to get her up there. And boy, when she gets on that piano, she tears it up. And she's just, what a treasure she is. I watched that recent rerun of that recent show that Bob Phillips did. I don't know how long ago it was, when he went to her home and talked to her about her years as a music instructor, and just what a jewel she is.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but 99 years strong. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
I think you're right. Yeah, she's just amazing, and on top of that, she's just got the cutest personality, and she can still be so funny. You know,
Absolutely.
I love hanging out with her. I really do. She's just a great person all the way around and extremely talented. And when she plays that piano, her whole body lights up. I mean, she is just doing what she's supposed to be doing.
You know,
So-
she and Roe are kind of cut from the same cloth, and when they get up there and they get into that music, you know, it just transforms them, and you know, you would nenever know that they were at the age they were. You'd think, well, these are a couple of 20-year-olds up here. And when Lucy gets on that piano and starts playing, she does kind of what old Al Strickland did, where he would be pounding away at the piano, but he's not even looking down at what he's doing. He's looking out there at the audience, making sure that they're paying attention. And it's just amazing. So I always love it when I get a chance to be on stage with her. And of course, my piano player, who's no slouch, he stood back and was just kind of basking in her aura. You know, he was just amazed that he could be on the same stage with her.
So Lucy says she'll be 99 June 1st. So she was born 1924. God bless you, man. I'm so thankful that you're watching here, and we're thankful for all you've contributed to music. So thank you for checking in. Well, yes. Cathy and Steve, it's been a great hour here. We've covered a lot of ground here, and I hope you come back and do this again here, and hope we can all connect in person here soon as well.
That would be great. Thank you so very much for having me on your show. Y'all keep up the great work. God bless you all. Happy Easter, and just keep the great music coming our way, and these great interviews with some of the people that make such a difference in the music industry.
And before we let you go, we should also let you plug website and socials for folks that want to know about you, your career, and also KSSL.
Yes, KSSL-FM.com. You can stream, you know, what we're playing on our website. We also have a free mobile app you can download. And as far as my music, I'm on Reverb Nation. I would say, you know, that would be the best source to find my music, to find my bio, and to find, you know, a couple of videos and that kind of thing. So if you go to reverbnation.com, it's reverbnation.com/Cathy Jewell, and that's my page on there.
Excellent. So see some of your videos on YouTube as well. I found a few there. Cathy, I just want to thank you for being a good friend and a friend to us. And I want to thank you and KSSL for playing music from me and other fellow independent artists. You guys are what give our music the legs to travel. And so I've always appreciated that you guys thought enough of my music to put it on your show, and to provide programs like Billy Bowles Swinging Country and other things that you guys do. And yes, I think radio is so important for the community. For as far as cost per impressions are concerned, there's no better value than radio. So we do need to all do our part to make sure that remains. And then I also want to invite you to come to Fort Worth when we get this National Hall thing nailed down, which we're real close to doing. I want to have you come as often as you like and get up on stage, and let's make some music.
I would love that. I cannot wait. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Well, Steve, what's the latest with Clarksville Creative Sound? Give us an update.
Well, like I said, I just got back from, I was there a week working on some music. We brought in another new artist, which Brent, you brought her to us, Evie May. And I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do. See, how old is Evie, Brent?
Evie is, I want to say 15 or 16. She is well, I guess she's 16, a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, she's an amazing. She's got a great voice. She's got a great persona. She's kind of a female version of Ted Nugent. She loves to get out and hunt and shoot guns, and she's just a real character. And so I think we can certainly build a brand around all of that. And there's a lot there to take to the music lovers. And so we're looking forward to getting her back in there. And I think she's gonna also sit down with Curt and write some songs, and she's got a great family behind her too, which is so important, especially at that age. And so we're excited about that. we're Clarksville Creative Sound. We're constantly working on different ways to get our artists out there more effectively. We're working on all kinds of things, as you well know, Brent, because you're in the middle of it too, building a kind of a media network and creating content to get our music out there, to educate and entertain, and just always looking for people to bring on board as a part of our label. It's just so a lot of exciting things going on, and like I said, we'll be doing this thing at National Hall. It'll be a regular concert series at least once a month. We'll be bringing in not only Clarksville Creative Sound artists, but we'll be bringing in CMA of Texas artists, working with Mary Minner to bring talented folks under the CMA umbrella in. And, the sky's the limit on where we take that thing. And then we're also talking to some other folks about putting some tours together, not only here, but abroad as well. We know that there's a good fan base overseas, especially in places like Ireland and UK and Spain with, DJs like Marivi and those folks. And so we want to try to capitalize on that. And so, I, for one, am very anxious to get out there and do more live performances. So a lot of good things going on.
This is going to be a very exciting summer and fall for Clarksville Creative Sound and all those artists as we continue to build. And we also want to make mention Road Stories with Curt Ryle. We just had one this past Monday night. And if you haven't had a chance to go check that out, make sure you go be a part of the Curt Ryle Road Stories Facebook group, and also the Clarksville Creative Sound Facebook group, so you can catch those. We're going to have another one Monday, April 17th at 7 p.m. Central. They happen every other Monday. Again, go check out that Facebook page. And I hope everybody will get plugged into the Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group, the Clarksville Creative Sound Facebook group, and the Rural Strong Media Facebook page. And, just be a part of it. We're building some community here, and we want you guys to be a part of it and have your voice heard as well, so we can continue to grow this thing together. Also want to invite you to check out Rural Strong Radio, which is our 24/7 streaming radio station, found at ruralstrongmedia.com and on the Live 365 streaming radio app. It's playing the best in traditional country music, Western swing, and bluegrass with a little Southern rock and inspirational. We've got your Cathy Jewell on there. We've also got our Steve Markwardt on there. As a matter of fact, I was getting ready this morning, and we were swinging for the bleachers at a fastball in the dark, Steve. So we got it on there, and I hope everybody will check it out. Again, ruralstrongmedia.com or on the Live 365 streaming radio app. And I want to make mention on Sundays, 9 a.m. Central, we feature two great programs coming out of Texas. First, from Vidor to the World, it's Robbie Lynn with Sunday's Kind of Country. He plays almost 3 hours of great inspirational country music from legendary artists and independents, and it's a great way to fill your soul and get your week started. And at about 11:40 a.m. Central, I come in with a short set of inspirational songs. And this week with the Easter, we're going to have a Hank Williams set of inspirational songs, and I'm talking about 30 Pieces of Silver, How Can You Refuse Him Now, Jesus Died for Me, and At the Cross, as well as I Saw the Light. So we're going to have some fun with some Hank Williams songs that'll make you think about why we are remembering our Savior here on this special holiday weekend. And that's going to lead us up to noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, where the aforementioned Billy Bowles Swinging Country coming out of KSSL is going to hit, and that's 2 hours of great traditional country music and Western swing. So be sure to stop by for Sunday's Kind of Country with Robbie Lynn, 9 a.m. Central, and stick around for Billy Bowles Swinging Country at noon Central. Well, I tell you what, it's time for us to get out of here. Again, thank you to our special guest, Cathy Jewell, for joining us, and I hope she'll come back again soon. And I hope you guys will come back again next week, 10 a.m. Central, when our special guest, Steve, is going to be Penny Gilley, a Fort Worth favorite.
Yes, looking forward to having Penny on. She's been a good friend, and got to do a taping of a show that will air, I think, June the 2nd, where I'll be on her show. And so looking forward to that. Looking forward to having Penny on. Lots of great things to talk about there, what she's doing with her show, and of course her legacy and lineage. She's country royalty.
And another one who's been on that show before, our friend Cathy Jewell's been on there.
Right. That's right. So
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
Well, I hope everybody will come back and join us again next Friday, 10 a.m. Central for Fort Worth Musical Moments. Hey, this show automatically archived, so if you missed it live, you can catch it on demand immediately following the stream. Until then, keep riding tall in the saddle, and happy Easter, everybody.
Bye-bye.
You've been watching Fort Worth Musical Moments, a production of Rural Strong Media and Clarksville Creative Sound, copyright 2023. Please join the Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group and join us each Friday at 10 a.m. Central as we introduce you to another key figure in Fort Worth's musical heritage.